I'm Karen, 35. Standing in the catering staging area of my father's 62nd birthday party, I was seething with humiliation. Just moments ago, my stepmother, Helen, had directed me to enter through this back door, as if I were some kind of embarrassment to be hidden from the guests. I felt like a stranger in my own family, and the pain of 22 years of subtle undermining came crashing down on me. As I was trying to hold back my tears, an elegant older woman in a purple dress approached me. Karen Thompson, the CEO of Thompson Tech? What on earth are you doing here with the catering staff? It was Mrs. Amelia Reed, the head of Reed Enterprises, a well-respected figure in our hometown's business community. Her voice cut through the chaos of the kitchen, and several heads turned our way, including Helen's. In that moment, everything changed. Mrs. Reed went on to praise my company's revolutionary software for optimizing supply chain management. She mentioned that her company had implemented it last year, and it had increased their efficiency by 35%. People around us started to take notice, and Helen stood there, stunned, with a tray of napkins in her hands. But let me rewind. I grew up in Millfield, a small town of about 18,000 people. My childhood home was a cozy bungalow on Oak Street. My mom was a kind-hearted nurse at the local hospital, adored by her patients. My dad ran a successful auto repair shop, known for his honesty and expertise. They were high school sweethearts, and their love was the center of my world. My mom taught me empathy and the importance of helping others. She would spend evenings reading me stories and teaching me about different cultures. My dad, on the other hand, taught me how to fix cars, how to use tools, and the satisfaction of a job well done. When I was 13, my mom was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. Our lives were turned upside down. For a year, we spent most of our time in the hospital. Mom fought bravely, but she passed away on a cold winter morning. I was devastated, and so was my dad. Dad started attending a grief support group at the local church, where he met Helen. Helen had lost her husband in a car accident 5 years prior and had 2 children, Jake, who was 16 at the time, and Lily, who was my age. At first, I was hopeful. The idea of having a new family seemed like a chance for a fresh start. Helen was always polite and brought us homemade cookies when she visited. Her children were reserved but polite. Jake was into sports, and Lily was into art. 6 months after they started dating, Dad and Helen got married. We moved into Helen's larger house on the other side of town. That's when the problem started. Jake and Lily got to keep their big bedrooms, while I was given a small room in the attic. When I complained, Helen said that Jake and Lily needed stability after losing their father. Dad just nodded, avoiding my eyes. Over the years, other changes piled up. Family photos of my mom started disappearing from the living room. Holiday traditions changed to suit Helen's preferences. At dinner, Jake and Lily always got more attention and better treatment. If I got good grades or won a science competition, Dad would give me a quick pat on the back before rushing off to one of Jake's games or Lily's art exhibitions. By the time I was 17, I realized that Helen was just looking out for her own children. It hurt, but I decided to focus on my studies. I got a scholarship to Stanford University, and that was the first time I felt truly free. In college, I discovered my passion for computer science. I worked 3 part-time jobs to make ends meet, but I thrived in the environment of smart and ambitious people. After graduation, I joined a startup where I faced many challenges as a woman in tech. Men would often take credit for my ideas, and some investors would question my ability to lead. But I didn't give up. When I was 27, I identified a major inefficiency in supply chain management. I spent months coding day and night to develop a prototype. At 29, I founded Thompson Tech. The first few years were tough. Investors were skeptical, and competitors spread rumors about our technology. But when a large manufacturing company implemented our software and saw a significant increase in productivity, things started to turn around. As my company grew, my relationship with my family deteriorated. Helen always downplayed my achievements, referring to my work as Karen's little tech thing. Dad seemed uncomfortable with my success and rarely asked me about my company. When Dad's 62nd birthday invitation arrived, I almost didn't go. But he was still my dad, and I wanted to believe that things could be different. I arrived at the party in a sleek black business suit, looking every bit the successful CEO. Dad greeted me with a warm hug, but Helen's words were cold. "Karen, your work must be so busy. We were worried you wouldn't make it." The house had been renovated since my last visit. The old, cozy furniture was replaced with modern, impersonal pieces. Family photos in the hallway were mostly of Jake, Lily, and Helen and Dad on vacations. My graduation photo from Stanford was nowhere to be seen. At dinner, the conversation revolved around Jake's new coaching job and Lily's upcoming art show. When they finally asked about my work, Helen said, "I'm sure it's still just a small startup, right?" Before I could correct her, Lily jumped in, saying she'd heard that tech startups often failed. After dinner, I tried to talk to Dad alone, but Helen always seemed to be there, redirecting the conversation. When I was about to leave through the back door as Helen had directed, I overheard her saying to someone, "I just couldn't have her coming through the front. Karen always has to make a big deal out of everything." But then came Mrs. Reed's intervention. As she led me into the main party area, introducing me to business leaders, I could see the shock on Helen's face. Dad looked confused, but also a bit proud. As the evening went on, I noticed changes in the family dynamic. Jake started asking me about my business, and Lily complimented my achievements. Dad made an effort to talk to me more, and Helen, although still composed, couldn't hide her discomfort. After the party, when the guests had left, we all sat in the living room. Dad finally said, "I had no idea about all this, Karen. I'm sorry I've been such a bad father." Helen started to defend herself, but Jake and Lily spoke up. Jake said he remembered how Helen had thrown away an article about my company, and Lily said she'd noticed how Helen always undermined me. Helen broke down and said, "I was scared. I thought you would take Dad away from us. I was just trying to protect my children." I told her that I just wanted to be a part of the family, not to come between anyone. In the following months, things slowly started to change. Dad started seeing a therapist to deal with his guilt and the past. He called me regularly, asking about my company and my life. Helen also made an effort to be more inclusive. She even said she was proud of me when my company won a major award. Jake decided to start his own sports-related business, inspired by my courage to take risks. Lily started a community art project, and I offered to sponsor it. A year later, I hosted a small gathering at my office in Silicon Valley for Dad's 63rd birthday. It was a warm and genuine celebration. Dad said, "Last year, I thought I had a perfect family, but I was so wrong. Now, I'm happier because we're finally being real with each other." Looking back, that humiliating moment at the back door was the turning point. It forced the truth out in the open and allowed our family to start healing.